Hello, everybody in the JMC Village. Welcome. We're here going live on Facebook and YouTube for another installment of Speaking with the Village. I am Joshua Kent. I'm the program manager here at JMC. And today, with Speaking of the Village, we have an amazing guest who's going to be talking about community within fostering. So the foster care community is an amazing group of people, and I have an amazing guest here with me. Joining us, it is Miss Ashley. Oh, sorry, this way, Miss Ashley Wambach. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Josh. I am so glad to be here. I love that the village concept, because it's always that there's that meme where they talk about, like, they say it takes a village, and like, am I supposed to make a phone call? Like, where are these people, right? And I'm one of those people that you can call. Well, probably just like message on Facebook, since and go to our website. We are the village. So.
Yes, this is someone who I think Ashley is an amazing person, and is someone who's helped us grow our village already, and has been an awesome support to a lot of other people and kind of building their own villages. Do you want to just kind of give a quick rundown to the viewers of how you're involved in the foster care community?
Yeah, so the first place I'm involved in the foster care community is in my home. So I am a foster mom. I've done all types of foster care, whether that be emergency care, respite, long-term care. I've adopted out of foster care. But I have 6 kids, all under the age of 10. So in fact, I have 3 in diapers. So I'm pretty tired all the time. In fact, before we got on, I was like, Josh, can you hear my kids in the background? And he's like, I kind of can, but it makes it really authentic. I was like, we're about to get real authentic. So then, so my husband's taking them all out for a drive, right? In the minivan I never thought I'd buy. And so that's like one area. It's doing foster care in my home. And then also, I am the president and executive director of Compelled to Care. And Compelled to Care is, if I was talking with the state, we would say it's a retention program, but it's a support system for foster, adoptive, and kinship families. And because I'm friends with Todd with Safe Families, like, it's for safe families too. And we just have systems of support for families, and we also provide opportunities to serve. And in non-COVID times, which are about to open up, I'm so excited. We offer more training for families. So it's pretty awesome. I like my job. Let's be honest.
And it shows too, honestly. I see an amazing posts and amazing energy coming from Ashley, whether it's going to the parks with other families, or meeting for coffee. Your husband gets involved too with that. So like, what are some of the ways that like other foster families connect with each other? I mentioned a few, but what are ways that you like to connect with other foster families?
Yeah, so the main way I would say the main way that I have developed in like doing community with people is in smaller groups and more one-on-one. And so before, which we're bringing these back, but before, we did these monthly dinners, and they were a lot to put on. We'd have 80 parents, 150 kids, and we'd gather, get a great speaker, do dinner, do all the things, right? And that's wonderful. And we're moving back in that direction. But during this last year and a half, what has been really awesome is that a lot of our support was already online, but it's really developed more online through social media, which has allowed us to be able to reach out into other areas with people who aren't like close to us, like just to our zip code. And we've done small groups online. We do, like you were mentioning, the things that Nick, my husband's involved in. So he leads a group for dads, and they just go out to a different restaurant every month. And I go to the same coffee shop every month because, I'm kind of basic. I shop at Target. Like, I just want my coffee the way I want it. Like, so I go to the same coffee shop every month. And then Jessica, who leads our Single Moms Night Out group, her group is actually out tonight. And they go to a different restaurant in like West Olympia, and Evergreen Christian Community actually provides their childcare. So it's pretty awesome. So those small groups online are the main ways that we engage in community. As far as like the way the community, like the outside community, engages in supporting foster families. It's the things you expect, right? It's the things like gift drives, things like that. But we are a Christian ministry, so we have a team of people who pray for our families, which is awesome. Like, when you are parenting kids from hard places, like, we all need Jesus. So like that's what I've come to believe after 5 years of doing foster care. And and then we have businesses and organizations that donate to foster families through Compelled to Care. So it's pretty awesome. And we get to partner with organizations like JMC Kids and a lot of these other agencies in the area to help beef up support and awareness for the foster community. So it's pretty great.
Wow, yeah, and it's funny. I asked the question. I'm like, well, I guess that's a very different question now and then, and like how the community's changed. But I really like that. It looks like Ashley must have jumped off here. I assume she'll be joining us again soon. Things really with COVID have changed a whole lot. Changed how we interact with each other. Oh, here she is. Okay, back again.
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. I was just like, okay. I could kind of roll with it, but no. I like how you really framed that. COVID really has changed us, but there's positives within it all. And that the fact that we are coming back, I think we're coming back with like a more like a hunger to kind of make these connections that we've missed so much, or that we've kind of been sublimating with online this or online that, or just a walk in the park at a distance or something. So
I think the thing that I've really learned is that just through online community, like, the depth of relationship has been deeper than doing what we did before. Like, our main thing was that big event, and let's get everybody together. Let's do this family event style thing, which was in its own way very important, right? But that depth of relationship and community that's developed over the past year and a half is priceless. It's awesome.
I like that. I love the way you put that, because it's something that reminded me. There's this like visual. Then when I've looked up, talking about starting the conversation of fostering, making fostering just more regular and commonplace in communities. Something that was told me was you need to have water drops and fire hydrants.
Yes.
You need to have little bits of small connections that you can make within your community. And then there are going to be the big things, the drives, the dinners, this things, but it's ultimately the thing that's going to keep it in the forefront of everyone's mind and really prevalent in the culture of wherever you're at, is the drips that you go through, just the little pieces that you can hold on to. And I think that really builds the biggest, like, just kind of amount of support, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. Well, as a mother, as a foster parent, how has like being a part of this community supported you as a parent?
Yeah. So I think in this particular area, we have excellent support. And so part of it is like the biggest support system in the area is Compelled to Care. So there is that. So there is that thing of when you're the leader of a large support system, sometimes it can feel like, okay, where am I getting my support from, right? But I have found just even what I had found was in those like weekly online calls, that's where I found it. That's where I had that space to look somebody even in the eye through a camera and somebody who just gets me like that. And I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to, apologize. Not that I should have to apologize, but there's a sense of like, let me over explain this whole situation. Right. And I don't have to do any of that. And so that's a place where I have found a lot of support. Also in our area, just like, that's that. So the support is like, that spiritual, emotional, relational support. But then also the other side of it is like in our area, we have a really great clothing closet, and it's a partnership between New Bridge Community Church and Grace Covenant Community Church. And they have partnered together to do this clothing closet. And it's been going around about the same amount of time as Compelled to Care has. And it's just grown. And the way that they have served has been amazing to watch. And because they're excellent in their service and they're passionate about what they do, they've grown. And so we've really benefited that way. And then some of our like partners who have partnered with us through Compelled to Care, like that's been another one of those like tangible physical support. So for example, like just when I needed it, like somebody like a formula company was like, hey, can we donate to your community? And I'm like, absolutely. I just have a baby who moved in. So yes, you can. So I would say like this past year and a half, it's been those small groups, and then the tangible help has been the South Sound Foster Adoptive Clothing Closet. So it's pretty neat.
That's so awesome. And then those are just things that, I think as the community outside looking in from fostering, really don't understand the availability. And I think that, one of the reasons I wanted to cover this topic really was because I think that's a stigma, unfortunately, is you're dropped with a kid. All right, figure it out, and ultimately that's not the best way to raise a child because we say it takes a village to raise a child. So,
although, I mean, I do have two biological kids, and I remember that feeling with the first one is like they hand you a child and you're like, and then what happens, so like, even if it feels like that, like there's never a point like that, like every time a kid moves in, it's like, oh, okay, what do we do next? So yeah, so even if that emotion happens, like it is a natural like progression of parenthood.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, something I have yet to, been graced with that feeling of running around the head cut off with the chicken kind of thing feeling. But, all in good time, as they say.
Yeah.
Hard not to fall in love with some of the stories of some of those kiddos that you're with, and you're just like, just want to grab you in and hold you so tight and do all these ways to support you, because I know ultimately there are people like you, like people like in our organization that will be means of support for me if I wanted to. And it's just, so I think that's part of the empowering part of being a part of this community. And that's something that I think you've done so well for me, as JMC is new to the game. We're young, and I'm young, especially to foster care. And so it feels so good to know so much positivity is out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I kind of feel like you're going to find whatever you look for, obviously. But I know for me, I was like, I need a positive environment, just because frankly, doing foster care is hard. That is just the reality of what it is. And you have these kids who come into your home with these broken stories, and sometimes their trauma can trigger your own, and it can just be a lot. And so I knew I needed community if I was going to walk forward into this new season in life. And so like compelled to care, even though it is large, right? It's larger now. We have a large retreat. We do a lot of things. It began as just a small group dinner, and it grew quickly. And but I knew, like, when we showed up to that, it was like we need to be in community with other people doing the same thing, so that way it's sustainable. Because I believe strongly, like, so I just believe, like, you can't do this for the long run without support. And I think the goal when a child gets placed in your home, it's like, how can we get that child to permanency? And so even if you do foster care for just one kid, like, that is an amazing thing on the planet. And because I think, people can sometimes be emotionally motivated and move forward and get licensed. And they either hear about, the 7 to 10,000 kids in Washington State who are in the foster care system, or they hear that one child, right? That one kid in their neighborhood, because like, foster care is a mission field that's not overseas. It's in your neighborhood, in your grocery store. Like, you have seen foster kids. And sometimes we can be moved to move forward when we hear those stories, but it won't necessarily sustain us through to get that kid to permanency. And so that's why support is so vital to this walk, is because our goal is to get that child to permanency. And so that means we got to stay healthy, we got to stay in community, and be with other people who can look us in the eye and just get it without a lot of explanation. And so I know that this particular area, Thurston County area, is so well supported, and there are so many great people and just positive people doing foster care, even in the midst of the hard. And so, yeah, I personally love doing foster care in this area.
Yeah, it's the emotions sometimes that grab you in, but it's really the support and the why you're ultimately doing it that's really going to push you through. If this is something you're called to be doing.
Right.
So for those people who feel that they might, be called from, but they haven't quite taken that next step, what's something like you would want to say to them about, like, the community that is around fostering? Maybe encouragement, or
I would say that this particular area has a ton of support. So there was a time, and there are still areas, where you would feel like you're the only one. And I can tell you, being a foster parent, there's a natural loneliness and a natural grief to doing it. So being around people, one, who can acknowledge that, so you don't feel like, why do I feel this way? Right. I stepped forward. I did this awesome thing. Everything's was pretty okay. But being around people who get it is really, really important. And this area has that. What was the question? You were asking me about community in the village.
You're all good. I would just say, mainly asking, what's some way you would, encourage someone and kind of shed some light on what the community is like, that they might be skeptical about starting the fostering journey. I think you answered it just well, because I think it can feel like you don't know, the unknown is sometimes the hardest. And we talk about, like on our lives here we have Intro to Foster Night too. We, talk about some facts. Trelane comes on some Fridays and talks about some things going on in foster care, usually highlighting one of the main problems being there's not enough families, there's not enough homes. And that could be a hard narrative to continue to listen to, because you're like, well, then, like, who else is going to get it? Who else is going to be around?
Right.
But also, kind of want to flip the script here too, but there is a lot of support. Once you're in for this work,
I would say, so I think, yes, the need is absolutely big. But if you can shrink it down, shrink that need down, and then also know, if you're gonna move forward and you're gonna give support and permanency to one child, whether that permanency looks like return home, adoption, or that child goes to live with a family member, whatever it looks like there is support for you. And the number one thing that we have heard foster families say is that I feel alone, I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard. And this is an area where you will definitely, as long as you engage in community as much as you want to engage in it, you will find connection and community with others who are on the same path and who absolutely get it.
It's very encouraging. It's like there's enough to fill everyone's cup, and that's how I see it as needs, especially, that's one way I've talked about like needs of kiddos, sometimes it's like, well, how big is their sensory cup, or how big is their, movement cup, how much they need to move in their life. But it's how much community, someone needs can be ultimately filled, and how much you want to be a part of it. It is so great. And even just, seeing silly posts about, kids playing in the garbage, or
yes, my kid.
or not getting what they want, but ultimately it's just about family. And you'd share that with your uncle, if you have a big family, your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents. But that's what's nice, is that the people in these communities are the aunts and the uncles and the child care and the people that you can share these funny stories with, because they get it. Ultimately, they have the same struggles, and that connection with you.
Yeah. And what's really neat is I get to see people who, and even me, like going to foster care, I had this list of, that was really unrealistic, but this list of, here's what I'm not going to do. Right. And like, it's something that you can grow with. It's something that, the things that scared you before don't scare you anymore. And so I've just watched people go beyond what they thought they could do. And obviously, definitely with support and healthy choices for their family. But just I've watched them be so brave. And I think that's something really cool about being in this community and what I do, that I've just got to see people, step into their calling and just be brave about it and do it scared. And it's pretty awesome.
That gives me like the goosebumps, because it's great to hear that people want to grow, and that people, especially adults, that's some of like the hardest population to grow and learn and develop in within yourself. But that's what I think I really love about this community. You hear stories like, yeah, I just took in the one kid, that I knew from down the street, and then they're pulling up in a van with 7 kids and they took all the kids in. Or I'm never going to do anyone but babies. And then, a year later, they're like dealing with the tough teens that have behaviors or something too. Flexibility.
This morning, I went on a hike. So we do these play dates in the summer. Just a time to where, honestly, as a parent, it's nice to have meet with other parents. But then our kids can play, and if one kid like acts out of pocket, like there's no parent there to judge me and my parenting. Like everybody just knows, like, oh, it's this kid's turn to, have a moment, and your turn to deal with it. So like, it's just a positive environment. But I watched this mom. We went on a mini hike, and she was carrying her kid, and he's on a tube, and his feeding, backpack. She had that on, doing a hike, and we're carrying his, like, one of the kids were working together to carry their stroller up this one part. And I'm like, she's pushing her kid and has like the feeding pack, and we have 2 moms carrying the stroller up a hill. I was like, I feel like if we had somebody with a camera, this would be the perfect definition of what compelled to care is. Like, when you have stepped forward in faith and taken on more than you thought you could do, like, and we're just, you're just doing it. You have other people beside you, like, helping to carry the load. And I think it's just great. I don't know. I think it's great.
That's so great. I love that. I love hearing those stories. It's ultimately teaching those kids too. It's like, yeah, just accept kids where they're at and help where you can, and enjoy doing it. Sounds like little walks in the park. I've seen the play dates in the park, and I remember taking recommendations. I threw a few of mine out there, the childhood parks I like. like, what are some of the other fun summer activities or maybe activities throughout the year that you guys get to engage with?
Yeah, well, I can just tell you, like, so we do the park tour. So we do that every summer, just because it's easy. It's like we need easy, and so we meet
Especially
at
out
a
in
different.
Washington, parks galore.
Right, right. And we need to like get these kids outside. So we do a Playdate Park tour, and we do that every summer. I think I'm not sure how many summers we've been doing it now, but we do it every summer, and we meet at a different park in the area. And then our board member Cindy, she comes up with fun kid things to do. And so today was to go hike and find a fairy garden at LBA Park. So we did, we did that. So that's what we're doing this summer. And then in August, it's exciting. We are doing a back to school supply drive. And so True Grace Church is hosting that, and we'll have opportunities for people to give online. And so we'll be giving out school supplies, I believe the Thursday before Labor Day. And so that's a giving opportunity that we're going to be doing. So we're excited. We're excited about that. In September, we're looking at bringing back our dinners. So we're super thrilled for that. We asked, what's the number one things you want to, what are the things as things are opening up that you would love to come back? And the number one thing is the family dinner. So we're looking at that. We're looking at launching communities in other counties. So I'm working with a group of pastors, and so we're excited about this next year as like things opening up. So I'm just excited for the next year and what it has to offer.
Me too, honestly. I'm just excited to see how not only JMC grows, but how Compelled to Care grows, and just the fostering community grows as a whole. And in hopes that we don't really need fostering, a big, organization for fostering as much. Maybe it's just a continued amount of support or a continued amount of family education and stuff like that. So that, I'm excited to grow and see and meet everyone and grow together with people. I think this year is going to be great, and seeing Compelled to Care more and more will just be so awesome. Well, I think that wraps up our questions, and I think that is about our time. But is there anything you would like to share with any of the James Matthew Commission viewers before we head out here?
Yeah, I would say if you are a foster parent, just walk in encouragement. Like, what you do matters. You're not alone in what you do. And so that would be my biggest thing, is what you do matters, and just be encouraged in that, and always go back to your original why. And if that doesn't sustain you, come up with a new one. And then if you are looking to get involved in foster care, whether that's serving JMC kids or that's becoming a foster parent, that you just take the steps to move forward. I mean, there are plenty of times that we can talk ourselves out of things, but this stuff matters. It's really important. So any way that you can move forward to care for kids from hard places, do it. Just do the thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it's starting the conversation that I think some of the hardest hill to get over. And then, but once you do it, and once you start, once I started talking with Ashley and other people in this community, it was just like, wow, it's like I want to commit all my time to doing this and everything. And it just does really fill you up with so much love and positivity. And even in the rough times, ultimately, that you're serving these kids so that they can grow and be their best selves and feel success and feel loved, because that's all they ultimately deserve. So. Well, thank you, Ashley, for joining us this week on Speaking with the Village. Check out everything with Ashley. It's compelledtocare.com.
Yep.
Correct?
That's right.
Compelledtocare.com. With a 2, compelledtocare.com.
Yeah. So compelledto.com. Yeah. Compelledtocare.com. And you'll be able to see all of our programs and initiatives and all the things that we do. So yeah. So I would love to connect with you. If you need support, you can My email is all over the website. You can find us on Facebook. And if you want to learn how to become a foster parent, I know that Joshua Kent would love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, so compelled2care.com. Yep, there it is.
Yep.
I got it right. Compelled2care.com right there. If you want to check out more what Ashley's up to and what supports that Compelled to Care is offered. They do an amazing amount of things. She's going to be a continued outlet for me as I start to take on and manage different families and the kiddos that they have in their homes. So thank you, Ashley, for joining us. And we'll see you around the community.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this evening. If you want to learn more about James Matthew Commission, jmckids.com, right at the bottom there. Feel free to reach out to us. Also, fosters@jmckids.com will be our email. Thanks, everyone, for providing this village of support around us, around the people doing this work. And ultimately, what gives us our drive, gives us our why, is the community around us and the support we're given. So thank you, everyone. Hope you have a blessed day. See you next time.